about it.
No.
And here comes Bo with a copy of GQ.
Yes, sir.
With the interview. I need to read that interview.
Giddy up.
Yeah.
I need that. Yeah, I need that. I need that for the articles.
I like Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, okay. The big stuff.
Another. The
Oh,
big
yeah,
stuff.
the secret
I was going to
screenings.
say. Well, I was going to say a couple of two more that just mentioned really briefly.
All right.
Mention really briefly.
Seventh Moon and JCVD.
Okay.
I did not see Seventh Moon, the new movie from the Blair
Wow.
Witch Project.
Wow. Over here, we are currently doing an interview with Neo, who dodged a bullet.
Yeah. so I heard.
No.
Seventh Moon.
I liked it.
Well, see,
I
I'm the
did
guy
not
who hates
like
the
it.
Blair Witch Project, and I think the only good thing about it is the marketing. Those guys are geniuses, and I hope they're sitting pretty somewhere right now, because that was a genius marketing move, copied many times since, but they're the ones who invented it. So, hey,
Well,
kudos
not
to
really,
them.
but-
Well, pretty much.
Cannibal Holocaust invented it. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
What,
Cannibal
the marketing,
Holocaust.
the internet type marketing, like this really happened. and
Yeah.
really-
That was Cannibal Holocaust. They were like, the director claimed it was all real for years until they
Well,
they
I've
tried
never-
to try
They-
him on it.
Yeah.
I'm not. You got to remember, I'm not quite the horror fan you guys are. I've not actually seen Cannibal.
In the modern era, they were the first people to do that, but
They
it
were-
did not work out so well for them.
Seventh Moon, lots of fun. I thought it was a great little monster film. It was head and shoulders above most straight-to-DVD horror films, but probably wouldn't make much of a splash if it were to be released theatrically, as most of the films here at the festival. I just wish someone would buy Eduardo Sanchez a fucking tripod.
And while you're at it, get him a light kit, because this entire film was shot at night, and it's only lit by like the faintest glimmer of moonlight. You can never see what's going
he
on.
is still all about not showing you a damn thing.
And so you're sitting in a dark theater watching a dark screen while Amy Smart and her Chinese husband are running around screaming a lot. And that is for an hour and a half until we finally see the monsters, and we're like, oh, wow, when did I walk into The Descent?
yeah.
Humorously, in the actual theater, Amy Smart was there, and I didn't even see her. I was just trying to get through, and I was like in a hurry. I was like, "Excuse me," and she was like, "Oh, sorry." I like kind of brushed up against her all brusquely, and I was like, afterwards, like, that girl looked familiar. Who was that? And to Jason, he's like, that was Amy Smart. It's like, do I? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Boobs,
she's
road trip.
shorter than I thought.
Yeah, boobs, road trip. Boobs, road trip. You're like, oh, that one.
No, I think Crank.
Yeah, Crank.
Yeah.
Oh, Crank, right.
I always picture the Asian guy holding his hands up going, yes!
Yeah, that was...
Go!
I love Amy's. I did not realize she was going to be there, or else I would have gone to that screening.
She was actually much more attractive in person than she has been in anything I've seen her in on TV.
She's
But short.
cute.
But the perfect height to rest your beer on her head. So
But short.
And talking about respecting
I know,
women
I
and
just-
not
that's why I
being
brought-
second-class citizens.
I was going to take that.
Cyrus
Yeah.
doesn't need a religion to disrespect women. He does it just as it is.
Like I said, it's it comes automatically. There is no ritual about it. It just happens.
So, yes. Now, JCVD, as in
JCVD.
Jean-Claude motherfucking Van Damme.
Everyone scoffs when they hear the concept of this movie, when they hear what the initials stand for,
I did. I scoffed.
I did
went,
too.
Yeah, whatever.
and you're all fucking wrong. I
Did
was
you
wrong.
see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, my God.
How
what
was
a
I going to
good
miss
movie.
this? Come on.
Hot damn, that was a good movie.
I mean, I never thought I'd be excited about a Jean-Claude Van Damme film, but everything I'd heard about this, I was like, man, I can hardly wait to see this. This is the postmodern Jean-Claude Van Damme film. It's him as himself. And admittedly, the whole thing works around one soliloquy in the middle of the film that all of a sudden, they could have put almost anywhere in the film, but where everything drops away, you actually see the lighting rig kind of behind him. And hey, it's not a movie anymore.
he pulls down the fourth wall.
It's Jean-Claude talking directly to you, and it doesn't feel like it was scripted at all.
It was heart-wrenching.
Yeah. Now, the thing is there was this film a few years back called Pauly Shore is Dead, in which it opens up. It opens up like a documentary, and the first 5 minutes is all about chronicling Pauly Shore's life and his rise to fame. And then he talks about his downfall. And then it ends off with this line, well, people walk up to me on the street and go, Pauly, when are you going to make another movie? And they don't realize my shit is weak. And after you see that, you're like, wow, this is, holy crap, this guy's laying it out. He's about to give me a movie that's all about, what it's like to fall from grace and to not be respected and yada, yada. Wow. And then it turns into just another stupid Pauly Shore movie where he fakes his death and ends up in a prison cell with Todd Bridges. And you're like, what the fuck is this? This movie takes that exact same premise that Pauly Shore set up in the first 5 minutes and follows it through. makes a joke out of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but also makes him very human and says, look, I've kind of been a douchebag, and as a result, you guys are making fun of me, and here's where I am now.
And he acts his ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah.
Someone asked me recently, because I reviewed this on my blogs, and they said, well, do you think Steven Seagal would make a movie like this? I'm like, I could see Steven Seagal attempting to make a movie like this, but here's the difference. Jean-Claude Van Damme, really smart as hell. Really smart guy. Speaks like 6 languages. A really nice person, apparently, to all accounts. I mean, he's a highly educated, sweet guy. Steven Seagal, on the other hand, not quite so much.
Steven Seagal couldn't make this. He's notorious for, if you ever remember the movie Executive Decision.
Yeah, right.
The one that the best part of the movie was Steven Seagal getting sucked out of a plane.
He had a hissy fit about it.
He had a crying fit and refused to come out of his trailer because his fans didn't want to see him die, and they refused to let him magically have a parachute or something like that so that he could survive.
He literally, knowing what was in the script, agreed to do the film, came on assuming that he could have a fit and they'd change it.
And they did not.
What kind of immature baby bullshit?
He is actually one of...
He died even more of a bitch as a result.
Steven Seagal is actually one of the only people who Lorne Michaels has said will never be invited back
Well, there are a few
to
now.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, but he's one of those few.
Yeah. He's apparently a giant douchebag and who hallucinates ghost dogs.
Right.
But no, this is it was fun. I wouldn't go so far as to say gritty. It's a little too self-aware at points is a downside of it because the story in and of itself, you're never not aware that you're watching a movie that is about Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to do something different. In fact, to some level, just because, well, I don't care if it's about him humbling himself. A kung fu master, which he really is in real life, would have taken advantage of a number of situations here. Where there's just one guy with a gun who's got his back to him, would have taken advantage of that situation.
You want to use the word gritty, but really the only reason why it's gritty is because somebody forgot to adjust the color knobs on the monitor.
Yeah.
And the entire film is in this weird greenish blue
Kind
color.
of the sepia, almost like certain segments of
Sepia.
traffic.
No, it's and I actually thought it was appropriate because the whole feeling in the film is a washed out, tired one anyway, which is what he's trying to say.
Right,
God
and it
damn,
works,
I'm
but it's a weird look that did bother some people. But I thought overall the movie was a solid movie. It was really good.
It was totally worth your time. I'm curious to know though, is there any truth to the whole divorce with kids thing?
Yes. That's all true.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to look it up. So, all right, so let's go to the big movies. We're going to go them real quick. The big secret screening ones, some of which I thought were inappropriate to even play the festival.
Oh, yeah.
And none of them were inappropriate.
Oh, I disagree.
Appaloosa was completely inappropriate.
A Western was inappropriate? Then why was Good, the Bad, and the Weird okay?
It was inappropriate because of the reasoning of why it was there in the first place, which was just that, hey, we've got this print here because there's a press screening tomorrow. Why don't we just show it?
No, that's not what happened.
Really? Because it certainly felt that way.
No, the reason why the press screening came up was because the film showed up. It was something...
Actually, I heard pretty straightforward from somebody at the Alamo that it was the opposite. Sorry. Just saying that it was they had the film.
I was
already
told differently, but
I'm just saying someone who works there told me pretty directly that it was the opposite.
Okay, point is,
I don't know. Either way, it
fit
doesn't
the
matter.
festival. It was a Western. We were showing other Westerns, and you know what? It was a good Western, but ultimately, I felt it was a yawn-inducing one. It was one that it climaxes 20 minutes too early. It's a really good story. It's a slower Western. It's more of a period piece that happens to have Western elements, but it climaxes about 20 minutes too early, and then you sit there waiting for the obvious resolution.
Much like every girl you've dated.
Yeah. Yes, they
It was
climax.
just begging
They
for
climax 20 minutes before I
don't
do.
do that
Oh,
again,
no.
Cyrus. Jeez.
They sit there waiting for the resolution.
I didn't think I'd been with girls. I can't keep my story straight.
I know. I never can remember what your character was supposed to be.
I have no idea. Do I even like girls? I don't know.
I don't know. It's Corey who likes girls. Am I a virgin
No.
still?
Corey
I
doesn't
can't
like
remember.
girls.
Okay. Is Corey gay?
Yes.
You're all a bunch of-
That's the earrings. Everybody knows about the earrings.
Oh, yeah.
You're all a bunch of damn eunuchs as far as
That's
I'm
right.
concerned.
We're animated
compared
characters.
to you.
Point is, what movie are we on?
Appaloosa.
It's a good film. I think Western lovers are going to enjoy it, and you're going to enjoy the performances. But ultimately, you're going to walk out and go,
I'm still pissed I didn't get to see it.
I adore Westerns, and I thought this was awful. Honestly, awful. Even the moments of humor and bonding between Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen's character was trite, and the same joke played over and over and again to make us warm up to these characters that didn't really have any real depth to them. The storyline plays out in a way that seems like maybe it's going to be interesting, but then it ends all with one of the biggest fizzles I've ever seen in any Western ever. And, oh my God, Renee Zellweger, please, do not film her during daylight. She looks like a retarded lizard. And
How about naked during daylight?
Yeah. She's not pleasant to look at. She's not a terribly good actress. And her character, the guy who wrote this, Robert Parker, I think, who normally writes crime novels, obviously is a bit of a misogynist, because she is one of the most unlikable women who's supposed to be at least partially a likable character I've seen in a film in as long as I can remember.
You mean women are second-class citizens in the Old West? I don't understand.
No, I don't mean like that.
No, I know.
I don't mean the way she's treated.
She is a pretty awful, not an awful character. The concept of her is she is just an awful woman. She is not the type of woman that you want to be involved with.
No, she's despicable. Which would be nice if that meant anything in the context of the film, but it doesn't. It's just like she just happens to be that way, really. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. There's no impact. You just have to watch Renee Zellweger be an annoying lizard for 2 hours.
I thought that, but overall, I really dug a lot of the Western elements. I mean, it was the cast was great, and I liked a lot of the sequences.
There are people I like to see. I can't go so far as to say that it was good to see them in this movie. That's all. Sorry, I really dislike
No, don't apologize to me. You didn't like the movie. It's not like I fucking made it. Ed Harris made it.
Yeah. So but, I've spent the week before Fantastic Fest watching like 9 Westerns in a row.
Yeah.
So.
Did Ed Harris have a better Western accent than he did a German accent in Enemy at the Gates? Because that guy wasn't even trying. Enemy at the Gates.
No, the thing is this is the perfect epitome of a film directed by an actor. It is an actor's film. It is not a film about pacing. It is not a film about telling a story. It's a film about letting the performances carry it. And this is exactly the type of thing you see out of great actors like Ed Harris. So it was all right, but I certainly, I mean, and you know how I am with Westerns. I mean, I love Westerns. And even I was kind of like, So, but that was the least of the secret screenings.
Yes, it was.
Let's move on. Role models. This was a big one.
I didn't get to see this one. I had to get up early to interview
Gil Keenan,
and I hadn't had any time because of the nature of the festival to prepare notes. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to blow off the last movie of the night.
Did you see Role Models?
I did. I sent Cyrus my review yesterday, day before, something like that.
Up.
Oh, is it up now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was fun. Yeah. I didn't think it was great, but there were some really great moments in it, some great lines, and a lot of actors pretty much playing themselves. But I didn't think it rose to the level of some of the more recent hits. There are some other big comedy faves that I preferred. But, I thought it was a great concept, and it's definitely worth a watch.
So I didn't even know what this was when you told me, it's Role Models. Like, what the fuck is Role Models?
I'd never heard of it.
What is it?
It is a film about 2 guys who work together at selling. They go around to schools and don't do drug ads for a
Minotaur energy drink.
For Minotaur energy drink. Then they end up getting into trouble, and as a result, they plea down and they get community service. So as a result of the community service, they get set up and they have to do. They have to be big brothers, essentially, to these 2 total misfits.
And the key here is that the 2 guys are Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott.
And the 2 misfits, one of them is Christopher
Mintz-Plasse or what? McLovin.
McLovin. And then this little kid who is in
this obscene, evil little son of a bitch.
Yeah, who's been in a bunch of stuff. He's this little kid he was in what's Everybody Hates Chris and various other shows and movies. He's apparently been all over the place. But so here we team up. McLovin is the real center of this film because he really drives the plot of this. He is this SCA loving, LARPing son of a bitch kid who just wants to dress up like a wizard and go out and beat people with foam sticks. And he's in love with this girl who pretends to be an elf who does the same thing, but he's a total dork. I don't know why I identified with this character so much. But,
I can't even put it together.
Why.
But somehow
and he's getting laid.
I felt no, he's not. So I felt
I can never remember what your character's doing.
I can't even remember either. So no, he does this fantastic job playing this this weird kid.
He does a fantastic job being himself. I mean, it's the same character as McLovin.
He's the same exact character as McLovin without
Only he wears a cape.
false bravado, and he wears a cape.
Oh no! Well, false bravado was a pretty big part of McLovin, but anyway.
But so he anyhow, it's all about these two guys trying to get their lives together while learning from the kids as the kids learn from them, and a bunch of dick, fart, and tit jokes ensue.
Yeah.
And it is fucking hilarious. I laughed my ass off at this movie.
I remember you said in your review, Jason, that this might have been just an average movie if not for the fact that the LARPing humor sells itself.
Yeah, I think it's like I was talking about is that the LARP humor is so fertile, and you haven't really seen it tapped by Hollywood yet. And I think they could have gone even farther and spent more time there. There could have been a whole damn movie about LARPing. But I'm not criticizing. I think that was a really great. I love the whole Big Brothers aspect of it. But yeah, it's just LARPing alone. It's like, look, LARPers, and everybody breaks out laughing once they realize what it is. You know, it's just. It's automatically
grabs the shotgun.
What's interesting about this film is it's directed by the guy who is the director of The State, who turned around and directed Wet Hot American Summer and then The 10.
David Wayne.
This movie is so unlike anything else he's done. He brings in some of the people he's worked with before, but this is a real narrative. It's got a heart. It's really funny. I hate his other movies. I love The State, but his movies are just a little too off kilter.
I didn't see The 10. I hated Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, this is nothing like that.
But I love The State. You're right. The State was great.
And this is a really funny movie. It's going to come out. It's going to make a big splash because it really is fucking hilarious, and it's smart, and it has a heart.
I don't think it'll make a big splash. I think it'll be reasonably popular, but I don't see it being huge. I don't see it achieving the popularity of like Knocked Up or Superbad.
I'm not saying it's going to be that kind of huge. I think it's going to be financially
It'll be
huge.
the comedy that does well in a slow period for comedies.
Okay, yeah,
it's
sure.
because we had a great comedy season, and now we're all tapped out on comedies, and it's bam, here we go. We got something new. We got something fresh.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't think it was amazing.
Next up, we've got one of the bigger surprises because a lot of people didn't know this was going to be there was the new Guy Ritchie film,
RocknRolla.
RocknRolla.
I'm a RocknRolla.
No, I did not see the Madonna movie, Swept Away.
I have.
See that? Heard it was awful. Don't waste your time is what I've heard. I don't think anyone's ever disagreed with that.
It got unnecessary slammed. It is not the worst movie ever made. It is not this terrible, awful thing. It was just all right. It was terribly mediocre, but everybody wanted to bag on it because it's like Madonna made something that wasn't good. Let's kick the crap out of it. It was like Gigli, where everybody just bagged on it, so everybody assumed it was awful. But it was just, there were far worse movies.
I think it's okay to offer up a sacrificial lamb, especially if some smug son of a bitch like Madonna deserves it.
Yeah, that's true.
This movie is the return of Guy Ritchie to his form.
Back to basically the sort of London smart, fast gangster.
The British
freeze frame.
comedies,
Let me
as I
introduce
call
the
them.
characters. This is Bricktooth Tony, and this is Lamphead McGee.
He's running out of names though. I love there was one, two, and Handsome Bob, and
he calls one of them 1, 2.
Yeah.
1, 2.
So what do we call him? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's
1, 2 is played by Leonidas.
Yeah,
right. That's true.
And,
he was good.
Gerard Butler, and he was good. I like the fact that he's moving further and further away from Leonidas, and that he really, I'm glad I don't have to, roar anymore. It's, but he was. This is a really good movie. It's funny.
Is RocknRolla.
It's funny. It's good. And what's cool about it is you're watching the movie, and it feels like it's just random. There's random violence. The entire story is just hot potato with this stolen item, and that people are getting their asses kicked or dying for random reasons, and then you find out it all wraps together and comes together at the end of the movie, and you realize that it's all a big play, and it's like, holy crap, that's fucking cool.
It's a complicated way to tell a simple story, like most of the Guy Ritchie films. This is a good film. It's fun. I think it would be a great film if you haven't seen Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I agree with that. Absolutely. Because, seriously reduced the velocity compared to those two films. It's nowhere near as fast-paced or as snappy or even have as many sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Those moments when it freezes and takes you outside of the movie for a second that are fun in that type of film. You know, the way they did in the first Feast film.
Well, I think you guys probably would have enjoyed it more if they'd kept their original title, which was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels 3 Still Smoking.
Yeah, I would have probably.
I mean, I love this film, but I love this film because I feel like it really is the third Lock, Stock film.
I don't love this film. I actually didn't even like it till the last 30 minutes. I was pretty bored through most of this, partially because Gerard Butler seems like he doesn't even want to be there. He is, people complain, say, Jason Statham can't act, but you know what? The boy's got some natural charisma that comes through in those first two films, and in here, Gerard Butler doesn't have that charisma. He just looks bored out of his fucking mind.
I wouldn't go so far as to say he looked bored out of his fucking mind, but I do think that Statham actually was a much more engaging protagonist.
But so
than Gerard
were
Butler.
all the other characters in the other two films. They just seemed, maybe it's not the fault of the actors. Maybe it's just the way it's directed.
The characters were not as vibrant as the last two films. Not even remotely.
As vibrant. No. And the big characters here, you've got Jim Broadbent, right?
No,
I'm not sorry.
Tom Wilkinson.
Tom Wilkinson. I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. Tom Wilkinson is the gang leader who's wonderful. He is vibrant. He is alive. He's one of the best actors working today.
He's no Bricktop, though.
No. Well, it's different.
It's very different. Yeah. And he's no Bricktop because this guy is supposed to be shown as a flawed villain.
Yeah. Okay. But then the most interesting character is the RocknRolla guy, the actual RocknRoller in the film, who the actor's name I'm forgetting, but he doesn't get to do almost shit as far as performance or development of character till the last half hour, and then all of a sudden when they do, you're like, this guy is awesome. He's one of the most entertaining things about the entire movie. You're like, why did you let him sit just being a mumbling junkie through the first 2/3?
Because that's the point of the movie.
Yeah, but he is one of the most entertaining things in the film, and before that, I'm looking for something to keep me going.
The one thing that disappointed me was I was not thrilled with the fact that they tapped Jeremy Piven to play a role that
nothing with him.
That had almost no purpose. It was a means to an end. It was
distracting having him there.
Because it's like, why do you have somebody as manic and excellent as Jeremy Piven if he's just going to sit around and go, oh, okay, we know where to find your kid.
Yeah, gave him nothing to do. It was like going back a few reviews.
Literally nothing
Going back a few reviews, it felt like Michael Ironside in Surveillance. Why is he even there? Why did you cast Michael Ironside in a role where he does nothing?
Oh, I actually liked Michael Ironside in Surveillance.
I just went, okay, I don't see any reason for him here. He's a great actor. I don't understand
because the man doesn't get enough work.
Yeah.
The guy was in fucking Scanners, for Christ's sake.
At least he didn't lose one of his arms in Surveillance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So anyhow, point is, I liked RocknRolla a lot. I think if you really like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and you just want more of that, this is more of that. I think if you're like, I'm over that was cool, but let's move on, this definitely isn't for you because it is more of the same.
I actually, if this was more of the same to that level of excitement, I would be happy to see it. I don't feel like it was. However, by all means, this is like a high rental. This is like, yeah, you'll have a great time watching this at home, but I can't imagine going out of my way to see this.
I can't. And let's round up with the final film of the festival.
The non-secret screen.
Yeah, the City of Ember.
Yeah, which I don't know if by the time this goes up, my interview with the director, Gil Kinnan, will be up or not.
Or my review of the film.
Or your review of the film. But it might be. I didn't get to see this one. So, guys...
Oh my!
I did not get to see it.
Holy crap! I didn't realize you weren't there. Oh my god!
I really wanted to see this, and I couldn't see it.
dug the hell out of this movie.
I thought it was fun.
It was a post-apocalyptic kids film, and it was dark and weird and dystopian, but at the same time cute and adorable and lovable. And I felt that it was a really solid kids film that was very rooted in the films of the 80s that Keenan is clearly influenced by. Yeah. This felt like it really wanted to be an Amblin film.
Sure. I can see that, but I had a couple of big gripes with it in that they didn't really explore this world that they teased us with. They didn't give us nearly enough of it, and there were some huge plot holes that I just could not get around, that I just stumbled into rather than looked for them. It drove me nuts, and I don't want to give any of them away because some of them are big spoilers.
Well, me and you need to talk about them, but because I'm very curious, because people kept mentioning the plot holes, and I'm like, as far as a kids film goes, everything played out fine. I mean,
sure.
I haven't actually spent too much time trying to pick apart the science of it being a children's film.
And I'm not bashing the film. I think it was a great time. It was a lot of fun, and I recommend it to really anyone. I just couldn't rave about it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I felt it was just as good as Spiderwick Chronicles or Speed Racer earlier in the year, in that it's as good, but I have this terrible fear that it's going to be ignored like Monster House was, where just it didn't get the...
I bet it will.
And that's what worries me, is because this is the type of film I want to see. I want to see these kids' films. I love the fact that this guy went and made a post-apocalyptic children's film, for Christ's sake.
Right.
I mean...
At this point, I'll pay attention to anything with Bill Murray in it.
Yeah.
I want to see... He makes interesting
Even
choices.
Garfield, too?
Okay, well, he was technically only voicing that.
He wasn't actually in it so much as you just
Loophole.
heard him there.
Yeah. Loophole. Yes, and I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, he'll take
I will
any
not
hole he
watch
can get.
either one of the Garfield films. But, I like what I've read about the premise of this. I mean, it's clearly an allegory for, our world today, about the whole, like, what do we do? We're watching the time run out. We're watching all this shit fall apart, and we're blustering about like nothing's wrong. And it's about politics, and it's about, like, people being full of shit.
Wait, it's about the War on Terror? Damn it. How many films at this festival were about the War on Terror?
It's the War on Terror.
Liberals would say all of them.
That was actually one of the running gags, was there started to be questions in the Q&A where people felt obligated to ask, were you inspired by the War on Terror?
God, every damn time.
At least it was better than the Mini Kiss question, because somebody asked if Paul Rudd how he felt about Mini Kiss. And that was the low point of the fest for me, where it's just like, get me out of this Q&A now.
Something big did come out of that Q&A for City of Ember, which is Bill Murray actually saying, well, yes, we're actively working on Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
Which is the first time that he has personally, which is the only person really anyone takes seriously his word on, has said...
Well, because he didn't want to do it for so long, because he was really bitter about what they did to Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
And he actually said the wounds of Ghostbusters 2 have healed.
Yeah. Most of the headlines I've seen linking back to the video posted on the Fantastic Fest B-side site start with that as the headline. The wounds of Ghostbusters 2 have healed.
Well, yeah. As he talks about, they really did kind of... screw over Ghostbusters 2 by kind of chucking out the script, going, no, we've been working on the special effects, and this is a special effects film.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, it's a
piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit that copies just at points like beat for beat stuff from the original, while never understanding why that stuff was good. But anyway, I would love to see the third film. I was excited just to hear that. I would have, it's Bill Murray, man.
What was weird was it was 2 nights in a row of them talking about that, because Paul Rudd was linked to being part of that.
That's right.
And so they asked Paul Rudd about Ghostbusters, and he's like, dude, I have nothing to do with that, but if they asked me, oh, hell yes.
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, who wouldn't? I mean, literally, who would not want to be part of the Ghostbusters?
I really wanted to stay. I didn't stay for the Role Models Q&A, but I wanted to stay just so I could ask Paul Rudd, what was Halloween 6 about?
Was he
No one knows.
He was the main character in Halloween 6.
I hated
he
that
played
movie.
a grown-up Tommy Doyle.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't
that
believe
was-
some people actually take the time to watch these films already knowing they're going to be bad.
Yeah,
Which is
that's-
why
welcome
I'll never
to
That would
our world.
that would be me. That would be Carlyle.
Yeah. We've gone to enough horror conventions together.
Yeah.
I've gone
blame
through the stacks.
I blame myself partially because Jason reviews movies with the site, and he came over to me handing him Anaconda 3 starring David Hasselhoff.
Oh, and let's not forget Rest Stop 2.
Yeah, that's
Don't Look
bound
Back.
to be a winner.
On Blu-ray, nonetheless.
At least it'll look good.
Hey, now, as I understand it, the first Rest Stop was one of those direct-to-video surprises where it came out direct-to-video and people discovered it and said, wow, that was kind of cool.
Not fantastic, but kind of fucked up, kind of cool. I dug it. I enjoyed
Somebody
it.
had to like it because there's Rest Stop 2 now.
No, I don't think I don't think
No, it
somebody
made
had to
money.
like it.
Yeah, no, people had to like it.
I think enough people got suckered to where.
But that was our Fantastic Fest coverage, man. That was, as it is every year, that's the big 8 days I look forward to now.
It is my favorite 2% of the year.
Greatest 8 days of the year.
Any of y'all are being cynical about it. You just don't understand. I mean, say what you will about film festivals, man. At Sundance, South by Southwest, wherever you are, you've got to walk all over the place. You have meetings going back and forth from shit. It's mainly all in one goddamn place. It's a giant fucking clubhouse filled with geeks who love goddamn genre films.
And lots of hot nerd girls who love genre films.
God.
Holy crap.
And in the best movie theater in the world, according to both Variety and Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, yeah.
And goddamn Cyrus.
And goddamn Cyrus. All right, well, I guess that's gonna wrap it up for us until next year.
Until next year.
Which, you know what, I'm already getting excited about. So,
Yeah, I'm
of course, I have Butnumathon before then. So.
Yes, you do. Good luck with that. 24. I can watch 4 movies in a day, but
24 hours of nonstop film in the Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah, that's too much.
One or two of them good.
Oh, fuck off. You've gone and you've liked it. Shut up.
I liked it half the time I went.
Yeah, he slept through the other half. They don't have the cattle prods anymore. Anyway, folks, say goodnight, Carlyle.
Good night, everybody.
You're supposed to say goodnight, Carlyle. Don't you ever watch it? Never mind.
I don't listen to your show, dude. I have no idea.